Hello everyone! So welcome to my Valentine's Day card series, card number 2. So I'm trying out this My Favorite Things ink, and yeah, I kind of like it because it's very dark and crisp, but at the same time I'm kind of, if you're new to Copics or you like to do a lot of blending, maybe this might not be the best for you because over time the saturation does make the ink bleed a little bit. So my recommendations is if you are, very advanced or you've been using Copics for a long time, then yes, this is a great product because it does give you that clear stamp image and it's so dark. But at the same time, if you're brand new to Copics, I would wait just a little bit longer before purchasing it just because it can bleed a lot if you do oversaturate it. So for my little love line land here, I am using E34, E23, and E25 for her hair. And as you see, I'm just doing little feather strokes going back and forth until I get it to a good blend. And it does take me a little while. And as you can see, I'm flipping the image. That's why usually I do a certain color or a certain style of hair when I'm doing my Copics, just because I don't like to sit here and flip it around because I know it can be a little bit irritating. But yeah, so just keep on going back until you get the desired look. And then I'm going to be moving on to my skin tones next. And these are my go-to colors, which is E00, E11, E13, and sometimes I use E21, but not today. And for her cheeks, I use my R20. So I start off with my lightest, go to my darkest, and back again. And I just make sure that I blend those cheeks out really well when I'm done. So next for her dress, I come in with E25, E31, and E34, and I'm going to give it a khaki look. So I start with the lightest and I go to the medium for some shading, and then I go to my darkest. So now I'm going to do her little barrettes and her shirt, and I start off using R20 and R24. I decided that I didn't like the way that her shirt came out, so I wanted to do more blending to it, and thankfully Copics are very flexible. So I'm going to come back in after I do her little banner with the hearts, and I use R81, 83, and 85 for that. And then I'm going to take those colors and touch up her shirt with them. After I was done doing her banner, I did write in there with a Jelly Roll pen that was white that said smile, but when I went to put on the glossy accents, it disappeared, so that's why I didn't add it into the images. To add a little bit more interest, I take my gold Jelly Roll pen and I start adding some little dots to her shirt, and then I do the collar as a solid gold. And I'm going to add this to her little barrettes and also make some little dots. Just to give everything a little bit more of a pop, I went ahead with some glossy accents and I added that into a few spots. To her barrettes, eyes, and also to that smile banner that she's holding, and of course don't forget the lips. After cutting out my image, I used my Memento Tuxedo black pen, and I found this at Joann's, so they do now carry it, and I just went around all the edges just to get rid of that additional white that was there. Taking my stamp set Adoring You by Amy R. Now I'm going to use my Versamark and my Recollections, and this is the gold embossing powder. And I'm going to stamp off on this red piece of cardstock and then use my embossing powder on top of that. But I did forget to use my embossing buddy, so I had a little bit left over here where I guess moisture must have touched the page. So I just used my finger to get that off, and I'm going to take my heat tool and just heat that embossing. After I'm done with that, I take my Martha Stewart punch and the heart, and I just line that up perfectly and punch it out, and this is the I Heart You. Next, I'm going to take another Martha Stewart punch, and this one is the heart doily, and I'm just going to go along and make a little strip with that. And then this one is a deep edge punch, and I wanted these little hearts, so I used some of that Holiday Elegance and the gold paper, and I just punch out quite a few of them. Next, I'm starting to assemble the front of my card, so I use that first piece and I lay it down, and then whatever was left over, I just cut it off. Now I'm taking the Making Memories, and this one is the Holiday Stitches, and I'm just making 2 little cut marks, so that way when I wrap the stitching around, it'll stay in place. And I do this 3 times, tape it off in the back, and then just cut off whatever is left over. Now take my Lala image. I put some strings on her from that stitches, but it was really hard to record and film that, so I just attached them, and then I popped her up on some foam tape, and I'm just adhering her down to the front of the card. Next, I'm going to take my Marvy marker, and this one's like a gold paint, and I'm just going around that little heart that I punched out earlier, so that way it has that gold edging done to it. And I'm just going to go ahead, pop that up, and place it right there next to her. And then those little hearts that I cut out earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and put those in the little corner for embellishments. Now using my mini scoreboard, I'm just going to go ahead and score that, and then use my bone folder that it comes with just to get the paper nice and flat. And I use some Tombow Mono just to adhere that to the card front. And it took a second, but as soon as it sets, it stays in place. Now I'm just assembling what would be the inside of the card using some of the extra paper that's left over, and this from earlier, which I embossed and cut out with my Martha Stewart punch. And then I'm going to add a few more of those little gold hearts just to give a little bit more of an accent to it. And now it's time to adhere that to the inside of the card. So that pretty much completes my card for today. I hope you liked. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Okay, bye everyone.